Baseball is back, but not the good kind on the 40 acres. We talk Green Jackets, Natties, and Lone Star Hoops up next on College Crossfire. I guess we'll get into it, guys. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
Roll up the sleeves for this one.
This Dallas team was very overrated from the start, like they always are every year.
The talent there, Kevin Mack, Eric Davis, and Cronin Roach are maybe three of the most talented guys on the team.
Oh, that's an ugly shirt.
Always a pleasure having you on, guys.
Time to freak out, Reese.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the only live show on the University of Texas. It's College Crossfire. I'm your host, Reese Miller. Terrific show coming up for you tonight. Let's go ahead and introduce tonight's panel of experts. We got a variety of colors and personalities on the show tonight. Eric Goodman, first up. How you doing, man?
It's been one of those weeks where, thanks, Josh. It's been one of those weeks where talking sports is going to be a welcome distraction, but it's spring baseball season. I'm ready to go.
Excellent, excellent. Good week, opening week. Also, Masters week as the Green Jacket, Mr. James Grachos brought it today.
Yes. Best week of the year, Masters weekend. I will be immobile for 4 straight days, and I cannot wait.
Excellent, excellent. Mark Skol, I already know how you're doing, so I won't ask, but bring in the blue. So we're just going to go and jump on into it and hop to it here. Texas baseball is in a deep gutter and is showing no signs of climbing out. Rock bottom, at least to this point in the season, was last night when Texas A&M Corpus Christi shut out the Horns to the tune of 5-0. Horns are 12-17. And Augie said last night after the loss he just didn't know what to say to his team. Garrido's resume speaks for itself, but is it time for Augie to go? Perhaps even before the season is over. I mean, he's obviously a legend, but is it getting that time, Eric?
I don't know any good coach that doesn't know what to say to his team in times when coaching is probably what's best for the players. I think it'd be a disservice to the history of Augie Garrido to say that he should be replaced mid-season. And granted, it wasn't this bad, but they didn't have a great regular season last year, and they still managed to run through the Big 12 tournament. And so, and they have the talent. Obviously, it's not performed anything like it should. It's projected to, but they have the talent to maybe contend again if they get on track. So, if nothing else, Augie Garrido is going to be there for the rest of the season, as he should be, and hopefully he'll figure out what to say to his players so that they perform well.
But at the end of the season, you think it's time to go?
Yeah, and it might not even be his call anymore.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, it was going to be his call to retire, and he might not have that power anymore.
Maybe the year of the axe in Texas athletics. Yikes. James, what do you think here?
You can't get rid of this guy. You can't get rid of Mac Brown, then Rick Barnes, and then Augie Garrido. I mean, come on. He's got 5 ships. He can't be doing this right now.
Yeah.
Let him work with this young ball club, see if they can make some strides in the next season. If he wants to leave, let him leave. But you can't let go of this kind of legend at this point of the season.
Hard to find better at this point maybe out there. But I mean, at this point in the season, nothing really matters until the Big 12 tournament. So might as well get ready for that because they're not getting in on a resume alone. Mark?
You can't get rid of Augie Garrido this early on. And even maybe at the end of the season, maybe have a mutual decision. I don't think you should fire him at all. Mutual decision, basically saying, it's time for you to go. But you can't.
A Rick Barnes type.
A Rick Barnes type or Mac Brown type. You can't get rid of him. He has the most college baseball wins in history. Great, one of the best Texas sports coach in history. You can't get rid of him. He's just one of the most decorated coaches ever. He doesn't know what to say to his team right now. And honestly, I don't know what he can say to them. They lost to A&M Corpus Christi. Like, what can he say? Play better. I mean, they just haven't been able to do that. You can't get rid of him now. Such a great coach, great coach, great guy. Can't get rid of him this early.
I mean, they beat TCU, who is a
beat
top
TCU.
5 team in the country. 5 losses this year, and 2 of them have been to 12-17 Texas.
It's just unfortunate right now how the season's going, and obviously it'd be wrong to fire him right now just because the season's already basically over for this team, so they can't just put the axe right now. I mean, just wait till the end of the season.
Maybe so. All right, I think everybody's going to start off with a point. Legend, very hard to get rid of a legend, but I think he, Eric, you brought up a good point. Maybe losing his rope, shall we, on leaving on his own terms. So everybody's going to start off with a point. We're in a great mood here. Moving on to a more exciting note on the diamond. It is opening week in baseball. We've had weather issues, walk-offs, blown leads, and much, much more. But, guys, what has caught your eye? We're only 4 days into the regular season, but a ton of stuff's already happening. Grachos, what's up?
Well, I'm an AL East guy. The Blue Jays,
Right.
I thought, were going to absolutely dominate this after last season's postseason. But the Red Sox, they got something to show. David Price had an awfully nice outing. Hanley Ramirez can make a stride forward. The ever-inflating Pablo Sandoval, if he drops a few LBs, maybe they can bring the heat. And a healthy Dustin Pedroia certainly doesn't hurt. But it is all reliant upon the Blue Jays pitching. If Stroman can step up, Marco Estrada, Jay Happ, if he's better than last season, it's going to be very difficult to beat those bats.
Remember, they were 500 in July last year, made the trade for Price and Tulo, then sort of made that run, almost ended up in the World Series. Mark?
For me, the biggest story is Trevor's story. 3 home runs to start the season. First player to ever do that in his career, to start his career off with 3 home runs. To me, it's a great story because it's a guy completely under the radar. I haven't heard of him before, and now he's 23-year-old rookie. That's this league that's moving to the younger players, the younger generation. We've seen with Chris Bryant, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, and now we're seeing Trevor Story, kind of the replacement for Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop that they've had there for a long time. So I think this Rockies team, they just found another cornerstone for this franchise.
How about that? You got Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado on the left side of one infield. Pretty crazy. A native Texan, by the way. Eric?
Yeah, and yet the Rockies are still not projected to do very
Right,
well.
yeah.
Now, for personal reasons, but also just objectively as a baseball fan, I was watching the rematch of the World Series, Mets-Royals, and I'm not going to actually talk about the Mets, shocking to many. The Royals, a lot of people were writing them off, saying that they probably weren't going to get back to the postseason. But really, who have they really lost? I mean, Johnny Cueto is no longer there, but they didn't even have him until the trade deadline last season. And who's to say that they can't acquire another arm down the line like they did with Cueto last year? I saw a team whose core is still there and whose core is still performing in the same style that they were last year, and that style blew the league away. And I'd be scared if I was an AL team that it might happen once again.
I think that's interesting. I think everyone is sort of writing them off and discounting maybe what they've done the past 2 years, but I'm one of them. I'm not a believer. They've got the core, like you mentioned, same middle of the lineup, but in terms of their pitching staff, it's kind of good pin, I guess, but
maybe the most important player or person on that team is Ned Yost, and he's back, and his style of baseball is back, and that's a winning style of baseball.
Interesting point. I like the first chapter of Trevor's story. 3 home runs, 3 days. He's a Texas guy. Our very own Jet Beecham claims he played with him earlier on, so
Coach
we'll
pitch.
see. Yeah, it is coach pitch, so not softball pitch either. So Mark's getting the point moving on. It is Masters Week as Grachos' wonderful jacket represents, and former Longhorn Jordan Spieth is ready to defend his title. It's been a bit of a rocky start this year for Spieth, but guys, can he sort of turn this up, go back-to-back, or is there someone else waiting to take over, like #1 in the world, maybe Jason Day, maybe old lefty, or maybe Rory gets in there? What do you guys think, James? Or excuse me, Mark. We'll start with Mark.
I have Jason.
Almost cut you short there.
I have Jason Day just because
Red hot.
he's won his last 2 tournaments. He's the guy who's on fire right now. Honestly, it's wide open. 25 guys could win this thing, but I have to go with the hot hand right now, Jason Day. And when you're going to Augusta, you have to have a high ball, and he's got the best high ball, or arguably the best high ball in the tournament. So I have to go Jason Day. I know Spieth is a favorite here at Texas, but he just hasn't been playing out like he was lately or earlier in his career. And I mean, he's still a great golfer, but there's only been 3 people in the history of the Masters to ever repeat as champions. So I don't think Spieth returns as champion.
It's supposed to be very windy, crazy windy conditions, especially for Augusta coming up this week. Eric, what do you think?
I think he absolutely does repeat as champion, because he came in his first time at Augusta, never having played the course, and he was in the final group on Sunday and nearly won it then. Next year he had a little bit more comfort and he blew the field away. This year his dad is saying like it's practically home for him, and I think that's going to just only work in his favor. And I think some guy that hasn't been mentioned is Bubba Watson, and he just has the best relationship with this course of anybody in the world. So I think he could definitely push Spieth as far as anybody else in the field. But at the end, I think it's going to be hook 'em horns.
A homer pick, or you really think he?
Definitely, because I wasn't here at Texas when Jordan Spieth was playing. So independently.
How much money you
Two
put on
cuts.
that? How much money you put on that?
He's
$20.
You
He's played a lot of tournaments. James, what do you think?
I'm going to tell you why Jordan Spieth isn't going to win. Well, his putting is not nearly what it was last year, and as a golfer, he putted like nothing I've ever seen. He completely takes the stress out of the game, but he's not hitting it well off the tee either. So that's not good. If he's hooking it left on Augusta, where you need to hit fairways to get yourself an opportunity, I'm not feeling it for Spieth. And over here, Jason Day, he's got a bad back. He's had vertigo. Like, I'm not going to trust any of this. So
Let's go.
Let's bring someone into the picture who actually is the most talented in the world.
Who's
Rory
your guy? There we go.
McIlroy.
There you go.
No one hits the ball better. He's going to smash it right through that wind, and no one can pick apart par fives like him.
Can't argue with a guy in the green jacket.
Can't
honestly.
argue.
Where did you get this?
Well,
I gotta know.
You know, I'm not telling you.
I gotta know. Never
Yeah.
to shop.
Maybe
Maybe he won it.
He won it.
Maybe he won it.
He won it.
Maybe for FaceTime.
Maybe for FaceTime.
We'll see. Don't get too ahead of yourself, but almost had the point coming into the question. You have the point going out and one round down. We've got 2 to go up next. Mavs or Rockets. Nova cuts the nets. And how about a little stick and puck in our lives? Don't go anywhere. Thanks for keeping it here on College Crossfire. Glad you're spending time with us. We're certainly glad to have you along for the ride. Let's check out our Masters week. And on our Masters week, our Clubhouse leaderboard. And we've got a tie at the top. 2 under par, shall we, with Mark and Grachos, 1 under. No bogey so far, but Eric is just 1 off the leaderboard, guys. Enough puns. Finally a championship. It is. It is moving day, moving round. That is finally a championship game. Lives up to the hype. Back-to-back insane threes made by Marcus Page and Chris Jenkins at the buzzer sparked Nova to a national title. It's why we love sports. But guys, is this the best national championship game ever? I mean, there's tons we can talk about the game, but in a broader perspective, is this the best one ever?
So I notoriously don't love these questions because 20 years old is as veteran as we have on this panel.
Best you've seen.
Best I've seen, that's a question I can answer, and it's definitively yes. There's no question. Now, it wasn't really set up well because I think a lot of people were turned off by the 2 games that preceded the final game, which were blowouts. But as far as just one game to watch, one game to have a memory of, I'm not sure if we're going to be, revering that shot by Villanova as we do the Christian Laettner shot, or as the NC State putback on the Jim Valvano runs and looks for somebody to hug. It might not be ever reach that level, but as far as just a modern, terrific championship game, it's as good as I've seen.
Yep, fantastic. James, what do you think?
Same here. It was the best live basketball game I think I've ever seen. And it's not just about the end. The entire game was spectacular. Lead changes all over. Everyone was at their best. Villanova was shooting the lights out, and UNC is so spectacular in the paint. But does it get any better right in front of MJ?
Wow.
Yes.
Crazy. Air Jordans and all. Mac, what do you think?
For me, I think it was a great game, but I have to go with Butler and Duke.
Wow.
The reason I'm going with that one, but the reason why I'm going with that is because Butler was a major underdog. Like no one in their right mind had them there in the championship game, and Gordon Hayward was that close to making it the half-court shot to win the game. And it was just Duke was a powerhouse. Butler was an underdog. I know Duke came up on top, but Villanova, North Carolina, they both were at the #1 seed this year. So it's kind of like
tough.
it's kind of like it wasn't really a surprise, Yeah. So that's why I really like the Butler Duke one, just because Kyle Singler, John Shire with the powerhouses for Duke, and then you look at Gordon Hayward, who's now a staple for the Utah Jazz. I just like that game better, in my opinion.
That one, I think. Go ahead, James.
Well, Villanova, there's some interesting context for them because they're not going to have a first-round pick, and I believe it's the first time a basketball team has won the ship without having a first-round pick since 1987.
Yeah,
So-
but they were the #1 seed for like 3 weeks, So it was kind of like, hey, they could probably make the Final Four. I mean, it wasn't really a shock, Like Butler, no one in the right mind had them there.
I'm with you, Mark. You're getting the point. That one sticks out in my mind more because the team stood out to me more. Carolina and Villanova, what does that mean? But Butler was 8 or 9 seed versus a 1 seed. Fantastic. Mark's getting the point. Moving on, guys. Sticking with hoops, but moving to the association. The race for the playoffs is on in the Western Conference. The Mavs and Rockets are right in the thick of it, playing each other tonight, actually. Separated by just 1 game in the standings, guys. Which teams get into the postseason and why, James?
Well, I may suffer a point here, but I got the Mavs out. Toughest schedule coming in. They got the Grizzlies, they got the Spurs, they got the Clippers, while the Rockets with the superstar are going to smack all the teams that they got coming in.
Ooh.
Maybe Mavs aside. And I really like the Jazz. They've fought adversity all season. Derek Favors coming back from injury is going to be huge. And whenever Gordon Hayward isn't in the zone, Rodney Hood has stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, I don't know if my man Josh Garrett over there is gonna let me give you that. He's an MFFL, but Mark, what do you think?
Great minds think alike, so I got exactly the same pick.
They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah, but they're
against
losing
really good
right now.
teams.
They're losing
Really good teams.
They're losing right now as we speak to the Rockets, and the Rockets have to play the Lakers, the Kings, and they are up
Mavs
now?
are up 1. Breaking news.
Oh well, but I know. I don't know. I just don't think the Mavericks are. I think it would be better for them not to make the playoffs. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, this is what Charles Barkley said at the media day. He said it's like 2 ugly girls fighting. Like no one cares. But
right, because they're going to get obliterated.
They're both going to get swept or lose in 5.
Mavs are actually only 2 games back of a 5 seed. I mean, that's how tight it is. That's how tight it is. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short because these guys have said it and I want to get to our puck and stick talk. But Mark's absolutely right. I mean, unless either of these teams can manage a 6th spot or better, it's not even going to feel like they've made the playoffs just because 4 games, 5 maybe if they're lucky, and they're out. And honestly,
But who gets in?
But who gets in? I'll stay the Mavs stick where they are.
Mavs and Rockets come in.
He wants the point.
They
He's
could
being
both
a stickler.
Well, who's getting in?
I'll go. I like the Jazz.
Mavs, Jazz, Rockets miss out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Rockets miss
I'm
out.
with that. I like the Jazz a lot, but I'm an MFFL. Josh is as well. They've won 4 in a row. 4 straight opponents held under 90 points. First time since the mid-2000s, guys. Eric's getting the point. Stanley Cup playoffs will be underway extremely soon. Right now, the Dallas Stars are the top team in the Western Conference. The Ducks and Kings are red hot, and the Caps have been great all season. But with the year winding down, who is the Stanley Cup favorite? Mr. Chicago himself. What say you?
Blackhawks. To think about it, they've been to the Western Conference Finals the last 3 seasons. They've won 2 Stanley Cups in the last 3 seasons. They've been a staple in the playoffs forever. And Corey Crawford's got a bunch of rest. Duncan Keith, the suspension came at a perfect time because he gets 5 games rest going into the postseason.
He slashed a guy in the face with his stick, though.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
But he's still going to be playing in the playoffs. I mean, they're probably going to get slated with the Blues in the first round, and the Blues never really perform well in the playoffs. I like the Stars team. I think they're really good, but they just don't have that postseason experience like the Blackhawks do. And the Blackhawks, they bring in Andrew Ladd, who is a really good. He was the captain for the Winnipeg Jets. You bring him in, who was on the 2010 Stanley Cup championship team. Corey Crawford can be one of the best goalies in the postseason. The Stars don't really have a goalie, so I really like the Blackhawks just because they've been so consistent. They've never won a back-to-back Stanley Cup, and I'm sure that's what they're trying to do this year.
I think that trend will continue. They're just not the same team. Their roster's more depleted. I mean, Corey Crawford, and they can turn it on and be good. But on even strength, they're a very average team.
They also
they're great
have
on
the best player
play.
in the NHL right now. Patrick Kane, he's got 100 points on the year. I mean, Jonathan Toews has the most short-handed.
Best scorer. Eric, what do you think?
I do agree with Mark about the Stars. They just don't have. I mean, the last 5 years they've made the playoffs once and they were eliminated in the first round. And I think in hockey you definitely need to build a repertoire in the playoffs. You need to build comfort there. And the only guy they have with extensive playoff experience is Patrick Sharp, who they got from the Blackhawks.
And Johnny Oduya.
Johnny Oduya. I like the Blackhawks for their experience, obviously, to go far. But I'm going to be bold, and this is bold because if you look at the past winners of the last 5 years and pick an Eastern Conference team, I'm not sure who, but I don't think it'll be the Capitals either because they've just found ways to fall apart, and Alex Ovechkin hasn't gone over that hurdle. And I'll bring up the Florida Panthers, and you could say they don't have playoff experience, and that's fair. The team doesn't, but the players, Jussi Jokinen, Jaromir Jagr, Roberto Luongo, these are veterans who know how to play in the playoffs. And if they can bring a Stanley Cup to Miami, wouldn't that be something?
A believer in a Florida hockey team. I like it. James, what do you think?
Now, Gooder, I like your points about the Panthers and I love Yogs, but it's going to be an Eastern team, but it's going to be the Caps. The Caps have been astounding this season, and it's not just on the grade 8, Alex Ovechkin. They got good defense, and they have 2 incredible centers. They got Nicholas Backstrom, who can distribute the puck like no one else in the world, and Evgeny Kuznetsov, who's having an absolute breakout season. He's spectacular, and what's different about this team is Braden Holtby, who's going to win the Vezina for best goaltender this season. He's been shutting the door night in and night out.
In the regular season.
We'll see.
Regular season. The thing about hockey playoffs is it's a whole nother
also the Caps will not
type
have
of
a
game.
difficult-
Whole nother type of game. Blackhawks have been there before.
Yeah, but in the
Maybe
West,
even
you're
the
going to have
Kings
to get
make a
through
run.
Anaheim.
Blackhawks have the toughest road of anyone.
Yeah, it's
They
impossible.
had the toughest road 2 years ago when they
Blues,
played the Kings.
Blues, maybe Stars,
Blues are
Rangers,
physical.
Kings, or
How about
Ducks?
the
It's gonna be a
Rangers?
very
Rangers have been
physical-
hunting around the Eastern
Rangers?
Conference Finals for the past
Lundqvist?
few years.
I'm on the Caps. They've been the best team all year.
Caps
Drake
are
would say.
spectacular.
It's time for Ovechkin to take the step and prove he is what everybody thinks he is, except in the postseason. I love the Florida pick, but we're going with the Caps. It's that time. They've been the best team all year. I'm not a believer in the Hawks at all. Moving on. We're through with round 2. But we're going to light up some rapid fire next. You will not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging with us on Crossfire. Let's get one more look at our leaderboard. We've got Eric with 2, James and Mark with 3 under par. Not great scores here, but final round here on Crossfire on Masters Week, so everybody knows how this works. I'll throw out a question. You guys jump in. Points are now doubled, and we're off. We've had the discussion of best championship game ever, but guys, in terms of just one game, any sport, what's the best game you've ever seen?
UConn basketball has had some doozies. They had the unforgettable 6 overtime game against Syracuse, and a game that a lot of people did watch. A game that a lot of people might not have was a 4 overtime game they played against Cincinnati, which they needed to win to get into the tournament. And it was not only that they won that game in 4 overtimes, it was how they got to that 4th overtime on a prayer half-court shot with 0.8 seconds left.
Awesome.
I mean, I was in a study area, and I lost my mind. I was running around, nobody knew what I was doing, and it was just one of the most incredible, it had to be the most incredible moment I've ever seen.
Yeah, not very popular in the study realms, I guess.
Yeah, well,
That's all right. That's all right. What about you guys?
We're talking about what we've seen in person or just we've seen?
TV's fine.
TV's fine?
Yeah.
I would say for in person the Javon Felix buzzer beater, but if best game I've ever seen of all time, Syracuse versus UConn, 6 overtimes. Johnny Flynn, who everyone thought was going to be the next best point guard in the NBA, just went off. It's just great game. 6 overtimes, it was just back-to-back buzzer beater after buzzer beater after buzzer beater, just insane. Yeah. 6 overtimes, is that even heard of?
Right.
You mentioned 4 overtimes, but 6 overtimes? Crazy, man.
Yep, pretty awesome.
You know, I'm going to go off the beaten path in the last 20 years because I was not alive for this game, but every time I watch, I tear up and cry like a little, you know what? Miracle on Ice. Miracle on Ice is it's just, I cry when I watch it, and it's the only thing that came to my mind when you asked that question. I don't care if I wasn't alive. That is the greatest.
That's the best. That's the best. I can't go against USA here. You see what he did? He put me in a position to choose.
That's true. That's true.
USA. My pick was 2011 Game 6, Rangers Cardinals. It hurts me. It hurts my soul, but I think that's the best game I've ever seen. Guys, real quick, think music here. Baseball opening week. What would your walk-up song be?
Is this a rapid fire question or is this just?
We're in rapid fire.
What?
Points are doubled.
Well, okay. You usually. Oh man.
Shakira.
You know what?
Taylor Swift.
I really like Taylor Swift.
Which song?
I gotta go with "Shake It Off."
Shake It. I like Shake It Off.
Shake
That's
It
pretty
Off.
good. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
Shake It Off, maybe Walk It Off. You know.
Okay, I like that. I like that. What are you guys, real quick?
I'm going 50 Cent in the club. Nothing gets me going. I'm feeling it. I'm walking in the bar, maybe see the bar, see a chick. I'm in the zone every single time.
In the club.
Liner
Yeah,
to
but
third.
if you're in the club.
Yeah, we got In the Club and we've got Shake It Off. I love it. What do we have?
My dad gave me the last name Goodman. I own it. I'm coming out with What Makes a Good Man by The Heavy.
Okay, never heard of it, so that's out of the running. I'm going with T-Swift. T-Swizzle, baby. I love In the Club with T-Swizzle. All right, guys, this is how this final question is going to work. 1 point for every name. I name a character in a baseball movie. You name the movie.
Oh.
Okay?
I can get back in.
All right, you guys are tied at 5. Eric's got 2.
I got some
All right,
room.
Buttermaker.
Bad News Bears.
There's 1. Okay, we've got
This is a good
Stan
question.
Ross.
Oh, I couldn't tell you
The
that
Rookie.
one.
Nope.
I couldn't
Stan
tell you.
Ross.
Little Big League.
The actor is now dead.
Field of Dreams? No. Major League?
Mr. 3000. Stan
Never-
Ross.
Oh,
Brewers.
oh,
Brewers. That's all right. That's all
Great
right.
movie.
That's
Great movie.
Milwaukee.
That's a tough one. That's a tough
Milwaukee.
one. All right, Henry Rowan Gardner.
Rookie
of the year.
Rookie year.
I'm throwing it out. I'm
Rabbit
throwing it out.
Boozer.
I don't know who won. All right.
played for the Cubs.
Roy Hobbs.
Oh, rookie.
Nope.
What's it called?
Nope, no,
Oh, no,
no.
natural.
The natural. The natural. If no one got that, you guys are all losing. Okay. He's got 2. Yep. All right. How about some Billy Bean?
Oh,
Moneyball.
There you go. Eric's on the board. Eric's on the
Oh,
board.
you know I beat you on that
It's
one.
true. All right. Billy Chappell. This one's tough. This one's
Bad
tough.
News Bears.
No. No, we already got that one. This one's tough. Kevin Costner.
Oh,
Angels in the outfield?
No, not
the guy who's the 30-year-old
No,
rookie.
for
The little rookie.
For Love of the Game is the one where he goes back in time through his career.
Major League.
Pitcher for the
Little
Tigers,
Big League.
lefty. For the Love of the Game. You guys got to see it. It's great.
Jeez.
Okay, we've got 3 left. No, we've got 2 left. Jim Morris.
Sounds like a guy who actually plays
Major
right
League.
now.
I know it's got to be in there.
Little Big League.
No.
I do love Little
The
Big.
Sandlot.
Now, you guys have already said this movie.
Rookie.
The Rookie. So it's the Rookie. Jim Morris is the old dude pitch for the Rays in Arlington Stadium. All right, Mark. It looks like you've about locked it up, but just for old times, Mel Clark.
Why is there no Benny the Jet Rodriguez?
It's
Yeah,
too easy
what happened to Benny?
Everybody knows who Benny is. It's not fun.
Oh.
It's a race to see who could get it.
What
Mel
about
Clark.
Smalls or Ham?
Yes.
Because everyone knows
Bowers.
every character in the Sandlot, and that's not what we do. Mel Clark. Someone has said
Major
it.
Wendy
League.
Peppercorn.
Yes, Wendy Peppercorn. I'm going Wendy Peppercorn
It
and
is
Wendy Big League.
Winnie Peppercorn loses. Mel Clark is from Angels in the Outfield.
I see.
That's a good flick,
terrific
though.
movie.
That is a good flick.
Good movie.
That's a
Good
terrific
movie.
movie.
Mark gets the points here. He gets the win. The green jacket was wonderful. Eric, great job as well. But Mark gets the win. Does he have time for FaceTime? All right, we got some time for FaceTime. Mark, talk about anything but Chicago.
Sports are great, but I just want to say my thoughts and prayers go out to the girl who was found on campus 2 days ago. It's just a really sad story, and thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family. I know it's a tough time and tragic event, but thoughts go out to her.
Yep, wonderful job. Best FaceTime we've ever had, no question about it. Our, as you said, thoughts and prayers with everybody, guys. As we're move along, we will see you back here next week. As always, Wednesday nights, every week, College Crossfire live at 9 p.m. on the 40 Acres. Follow us online on the Twitter at CollegeXFire. Catch up with the latest Longhorn sports news Monday nights 9:30. They're on the Twitter as well at College Press Box. Special thanks to everyone. Studio, Master Control, Eric Goodman, James Grachos, Mark Skol, Jr. the 4th. How are you doing, Mark, before we go?
I'll tell you what, Reese.
I'll tell you what. Show's over. 1 minute at a time. He gets the win. Until next time, I'm Reese Miller. Have a fantastic night.
Are you ever going to ask me that question?
Never. Never. I asked you.